Very good afternoon to everybody tuned in at home on 7 Plus Racing WA TV, to all of our on-course patrons here at the KBRC as well. My name's Scotty Embry. I'm joined by Matt French this afternoon. Thank you for joining our coverage. Unfortunately, we have had a couple of delays here at Kalgoorlie, but we are now scheduled to get ahead in race number 1 at 1:21 p.m. So we started off at 12:41. That was pushed back to 12:50, now all the way past 1 o'clock. But unfortunately, we've had a couple of minor issues at the airport this morning, Matthew. It's been a nice, slow burning start for us, but a couple of best bets for you. We're going to cover both Kalgoorlie with the rail at 6 metres and also the racing today up at Port Hedland.
Yeah, it's great to be able to have two races. We've got the double up here today. So at Kalgoorlie, race 7, number 4 in Just Sublime. I think it looks very well placed here and should be able to just get a lovely track into the race. And we've got 6 races up at Port Hedland today that need to be run and won. And I like race 6, number 1 up there, Royal Zell. But throughout the day, we're going to be able to preview all 13 races that we have today, which will be excellent for our on-course patrons and also viewers on 7 Plus. So hopefully we can find a winner or two, or hopefully a few more given the amount of coverage we'll be having.
Do you have a value bet out there? I know that you're a big fan of the dirt racing. I'm sure you would have got involved yesterday at Carnarvon. Today at Port Hedland, is there one at value that tickles your pickle?
There does look like He's a Bow, I find. It's probably has come up overs there. I think it's race 3 off the top of my head. And it's just, I like to see positive changes coming out of a horse that has been able to be proven on dirt before but hasn't come up so far. So we can see there's an inside gates and gear changes to the horse and also a jockey change. So those are some of the things I really like to see, and you're getting each way.
Well, these horses are just making their way into the mounting yard here at Kalgoorlie just before horse number 1 enters into the parade ring here. Matt, do you have a view on how this track might play rail at 6 metres?
Rail at 6. Look, traditionally at Kalgoorlie we can see the on-pace brigade has been going well, but at the rail at 6 I think it is a little bit fairer here today. So hopefully every horse gets their chance.
All right, these horses are going to make their way into the yard and we'll start previewing them shortly. The other thing we have today at Kalgoorlie is Jefferson Sang, the Hong Kong apprentice, claiming 4. He's going to make his race riding debut. Has a couple of rides later on for Peter Fernie, including one that I thought was a sneaky chance of victory too in Dreamtime Gene. But these horses are in the yard for race number 1. It is a maiden. It is sponsored by Elevated Work Services and it's over 1,200 metres. The first horse to preview is Gems Man, trained by Paul Tapper, and Chris Nicol taking the ride.
And presents here third up today, and both runs have had full of merit, I thought. He was able to breeze and just went down a nostril first up over the 1,100 metres before, then just drawing a sticky gate. He had then to punch wide without cover 2 weeks ago, and he was able to stick on okay into 4th. I'm expecting that maiden form to hold up there today. He's drawn a much kind of gate and map as well. Expecting Chris to really position pretty much anywhere he wants to from there, and he goes around a genuine each way chance for mine.
Number 2, 50 Words. John Lugg teams up with Keshore Duran.
17 start maiden that has not even run in the top 3 amazingly, but I also liked what I saw first up 6 weeks ago. He was able to run home 4th behind Ultimate Paradise, and obviously right there is a bit of a concern as the 6 weeks between runs. That's been due to a scratching at the gates here 4 weeks ago. I think the 1,200 metres will only suit him here, but obviously there's a few trust issues.
Number 3, Snake, Rattle and Roll for Justin Robbins. Ava Caterino taking off 3 kilos.
Had his first start in the stake 2 weeks ago, did Snake, Rattle and Roll, and he was not getting a lot of room in running room that day, and that contained a few of his competitors that he also meets here. He'll improve off that run, and I'm sure Ava's going to be desperate just to get him into some clear air to see what she has on the turn. I think this is probably the one with a little bit more upside.
As is always the case, Kerry Martin happy to travel a team up where they need to go to get to the races. Today it's Kalgoorlie, and this is a 3-year-old gelding, Vervain, number 4. Lisa Staples rides.
And it wasn't disgraced last start. It was able to run 5th in a much tougher maiden at Belmont. It went around at cricket score odds that day, and I didn't think he got a lot of racing room when he needed to, but he was still able to finish running home well in a race where there were some big gaps throughout the field that day. I think Lisa's drawn a really nice gate here. She can position just right over the top of the pace. I thought the 1,200 metres would suit him nicely. Just might need a little bit of luck ending up leaders back here today, just on straightening.
This is our favourite, horse number 5, Stryker's Gal. Steph Bakranich teaming up with Natasha Faithfull. The current fixed odds price is $2.45.
I think she's short enough, but I think she's also, there's a reason why she's short. She's had 5 seconds in her 12-start maiden career. She has been knocking on the door to win one, so I do hope the patience and connections can soon be rewarded. Comes to Kalgoorlie here after 3 nice runs at Pinjarra and Scarpside. She does get back in her run, so the way that track's been playing a little bit lately, I think those runs are full of merit, and last start she was able to run in behind Fire the Light and Now Pallet and L when she didn't get a lot of luck in running. I'm expecting the form behind Our Pallet and L to really hold up. Today, Tash jumps on board. It was a really last start, Tash was able to really duck and weave, and she was held tight on the line without getting too much room. She maps well here. It's not a deep race. She's put the riding on the wall, but she still goes around $2.45.
Number 6, Cocoon Girl, Helen Harding, new trainer. Zephyr Johnston Porter takes the ride.
Yep, and it is second up here for the Helen Harding yard, and comes from the last Albany meeting when she was always midfield and just wasn't able to make an impression into that race. They might get pushed back down here to possibly 3 back the fence from that gate here today, because she can be slowly away. From there, it is hard to have in a maiden.
Number 7, Admiration Bays, a 5-year-old mare trained by Joe Forrest. It's Troy Turner riding again.
And is your likely leader in this race today. That's the way I've mapped it out. And while she was no match for the $1.30 Carn Up Queen last start, she finished in line with the rest of that field. Lisa does jump off, though, to stay with the vein, so I think that probably tells you where the market is heading. And you know she'll be there in running today. She puts herself into it, but she just might get tired late.
Number 8, Karma Galar, the outsider of the field. Crystal Burns prepares. Scott Giddos rides.
We really still haven't seen what this mare is capable of yet, as we haven't really seen her turn up to the races. 4 weeks ago, she basically stood in the gate. She was never engaged in the race, and the last start was behind Carn Up Queen, where she went on a bucking display and just was disinterested in the whole caper. So the winkers go on here to just try to get her to play a little bit of ball. The market's priced as if she can't pick her feet up. I'd absolutely love to see her manners improve, just to see what the camp have there.
Next horse here is the filly by Nakoni, Nick and Amy, for Luke Fernie and Lucy Fiore.
And I notice there's a bit of market support here, and I understand with that combination on paper, Luke Fernie with Lucy engaged. It might read 6 of 14 at Northam last start, but that was behind the very impressive Mount Shirataku, who's since gone on to win a Class 3. That was her first day at the races, and she would have derived great benefit from that. And she only steps up 100 metres here. The gate is sticky, though. We've got barrier 10 for Lucy to overcome. She's probably the one horse to give ground who is up on pace on debut. So that's a bit of a knock of mine. And from the wide gate, I think Lucy probably finds the breeze here today.
Number 10, Amira Girl, David Smith and Vicky Corver.
Didn't get a great flow into the race on debut, I thought, Amira Gill, when having to cross around heels. But when she did, she seemed to be able to make steady progress. Did give me the indication that I think she'll suit the 1,200 metres here today. And from the wide gate, it's probably not a bad thing. We'll see her go back in the field and get her to find her feet and then be able to come home strong.
3 minutes of betting time here at Kalgoorlie ahead of race number 1, Elevated Work Services Maiden. Having a look at this marketplace, our favourite is Stryker's Gal, whose top quote was $2.65, currently sitting at $2.40. The money is with the Luke Fernie trained filly Nick and Amy, $7.50 opening quote, now $3.90, so a very good go there at her second career outing. Number 4, Vivane, opened up $4.20, got out as far as $7, back into now $4.20 opening quote. No love in the market here for the Justin Robbins trained Snake Rattle and Roll, $4.20, balloons out to $8 in betting. $18 for Gems Man, $20 for Admiration Bay, 31 50 Words, 41 Cocoon Girl, 61 Amira Girl, 151 Karma Galar. With 2 minutes of betting time remaining, Matt French's top 4.
I've gone 5, 1, 4 and 10 in the first here. I have put Stryker's Girl on top. I was surprised at how short she came up in the market, but it really does look a great opportunity for her to break through. I think if she gets clear luck in running here today, it is a bit of a now or never story with her. She has put the riding on the wall, and I think she's got enough form to be able to take this out. So I put the 5 on top in Stryker's Girl, 1 in for second in Gems Man. I'm not sure how much more he could have done at his first 2 starts this campaign, and just maps really well. I think he's the value bet in this race for certain. 4 in Vivane has raced really well in town over the 1,000 metres. I think 1,200 metres will be to her liking, but it is her only second race start. And 9 in Nick and Amy will race up on pace, and it's the jockey you want to have there as well. Just unsure as to how strong she'll be running the 1,200 metres out, but I respect the yard, I respect the jockey, and I respect the market support that we're seeing. I've gone 5, 1, 4 and 10 in a pretty competitive start to the day.
5, 1, 4, and I would imagine that's going to be 9 and Nick and Amy in there for fourth, Matt. I'll just clear that one up. 5, 1, 4, 9 will be those numbers here ahead of race number 1 at Kalgoorlie. Since we were previewing this race in the last 30 seconds, it's Vivane 420 back into 390 as well. So a bit of a late market support there for the 3-year-old gelding trained by Carey Martin. Matt's bets bet on today's program is race 7, number 4, Just Sublime at Port Hedland. He likes race 6, number 1, Royal Zell. Snake Rattle and Roll join in the line, so we're going to join the services of Matt McDermott to call them home in race number 1.
Thanks, Scott. Matt, welcome all. First on the program, Elevated Work Services Maiden over the 1,200. And 240 Stryker's Gal into 390. Nick and Amy open at 750 the filly. And 4.20 Vervain, 8 for Snake Rattle and Roll. So less than half the field to move in, headed by Stryker's Gal. And Tash Faithfull on the mare, being just led around again. Philly Nikanami. 50 words. And back there, Karma Galar. So in goes Stryker's Gal and Nikanami in unison. And 50 words and Karma Galar, the last two. Not far off a start, over at the 1200. First quaddie pool building up around that 13 grand mark at last look. And $2.50 now Stryker's Gal. And an even 4 for Nikanami. Karma Galar going in. 50 words is in reverse. Keshore Duran has jumped off. And they'll bring up 50 words minus the jockey and goes on in. So Keshore about to climb back aboard. The light blinking away for the opener. Race 1 of 7. The next at 1:55 local time. So they're close to a start. All clears given from behind, and away they go to a good line. And Nikanami was one of the first to leave Vervain and 50 words. Admiration Bay, Amira Girl wider out, then Gems Man on the outside of Cocoon Girl. Stryker's Gal is back third and fourth last, with Karma Galar going up on the outside. And Snake Rattle and Roll sees them all past the half mile. So they're about to race off the back straight now, and Vervain and Nikanami show the way. They lead a length and a half to Admiration Bay, 50 words, and Karma Galar working up out wider, covers extra ground. They were followed by Cocoon Girl, who's midfield over on the inside of Gems Man, and wider out Amira Girl. They were followed by Stryker's Gal, who's now second last past the 600, and 2 lengths away is Snake Rattle and Roll at the back, about 6 or 7 from the lead as they come on towards the home turn now inside the 400. Vervain and Nikanami lead. Then comes out wider Karma Galar, 50 words coming through in the middle, and Stryker's Gal getting to the outside. Cocoon Girl's over on the fence with Admiration Bay behind them as well. It's still Vervain down at the 200 and out the 150. Nikanami and Stryker's Gal on the outside is starting to lengthen stride now. Stryker's Gal from the back goes up, grabs Vervain, hits the lead, and Stryker's Gal a half a length to Vervain, 50 words. Maybe Cocoon Girl running fourth with Nikanami, and wider out was Gems Man. They were followed by Admiration Bay back behind them. Third to last, Amira Girl, and towards the tail were Karma Galar, and back with it always rearward Snake Rattle and Roll. The first favourite has saluted the judge, got back there last or near enough to. Coming on towards about the 500 metres and to the outside into the straight. And down the centre of the track for the run home, Tash Faithfull has taken Stryker's Gal up to grab Vervain, who went through to lead with Nikanami. But over the top, Stryker's Gal, the mare, Tash Faithfull for trainer Stephanie Bakranich. 240 in fixed betting, 220 and $1.04 on the tote. Interim placings are 5, 4, 2 and 6. Interim numbers 5, 4, 2 and 6. Stryker's Gal over Vervain, boxing on for second. 50 words has run third, and Cocoon Girl in fourth. Half by a half are the margins. A half by a half. 1:13.35 is the time. 1:13.35. The winner, Stryker's Gal, a mare of 4 by Patronise out of Vane Stryker, and raced by L&R Divatini Racing. And after 6 minders in 12 starts, that duck egg has now been broken in the win column for Stryker's Gal, winning by a half. Vervain at just his second lifetime start. He's a 3-year-old by Longleaf out of Funky Town, and raced by Mrs. C and P Martin, Miss A Martin and Dr. J Martin, along with B Martin and Mrs. C White. Lisa Staples for trainer Kerry Martin, and a third to 50 words, Keshore Duran for John Lugg. He's a chestnut gelding of 6 by Written Tycoon out of 50 ways, M. Willoughby the owner, and 4 to Cocoon Girl, Zephyr Johnston Porter and Helen Harding. So 220, $1.04 on the tote, the winner, 19,500 plus in the first quaddie pool, taken out by the favourite. Stryker's Gal winning the elevated work services maiden. We'll go down to the yard now and join Scott.
Thank you, Maddie. Those numbers are 5, 4, 2 and 6. Stryker's girl at start 13 breaks through for her very first victory under Natasha Faithfull, who has a wonderful book of rides here today at the KBRC. It could be the start of some big things to come for Tash, but today she's able to get the job done. She settled worse than midfield, made a sweeping run down the centre. She's always been a mare that's shown more than enough ability, Maddie French. She's now placed on 6 occasions and won 1 from 13. So it took her a little while to break through, but she's been an ultra-consistent type, and this coming to Kalgoorlie today into a country maiden was clearly the weakest race that she'd seen. Tash Faithfull's going to join Maddie French for a word because Steph Bakranich has, of course, stayed at home.
I am Scotty. Thanks, John, here with Tash. Tash, first race on the board. We were just saying then you've got a fantastic book of rides today, but moving just to what we just witnessed then, back of the field in your own rhythm, just where she needed to be.
Yeah, absolutely. Last start, I got held up quite badly on the inside, and I think going back through all the replays and getting to learn her a little bit better, she's a bit of a momentum horse, so just got to get that nice momentum into it today, and she let down really beautiful.
And there was a few there you had chasing in front of you as well. On the turn, I could see you pulled out into the straighting with a clear edge. Do you think you had enough to get past them in the front? Yeah,
she was travelling super strong for me, and sort of never really felt like I had to go for her too much. But yeah, no, I was really happy with her.
Might be talking a little bit today, well, hopefully anyway. In the next, you've got Think Like a Winner, obviously one of the weakest races he's seen in a while. What are we expecting from him here today?
Yeah, Ted and his form were pretty positive about him today. I think he has a little trick, he can miss the kick, so if we can get him to jump today, I think he'll be really hard to beat.
Good luck and all the best.
Thank you.
Tash Faithfull there teaming up with Steph Bakranich, and Stryker's gal pays $2.20 on the tote in the end. Got nice and short late in betting. Takes out the elevated work services Maiden. 5, 4, 2 and 6 the numbers here at Kalgoorlie. But stick with us. We're going to take a very short break, and on the other side we'll be back to preview the first race at Port Hedland.